Hi, this is Will, back again. We're going to do a video on transpiration. Basically, that's where you take plastic trash bags, you keep them in your rucksack or whatever, and you put them around a tree limb in the sunlight, like I've done here. Now you see the sun hasn't completely come up to this side yet, and I placed a small rock in the bottom here, and it's only a 30-gallon bag. These are the cheapest ones you can buy. They're basically a HEB brand. You can get them anywhere. They're 8.5 mil. They're not a very thick mil bag because they're lightweight, and that's what I like to use. Once the sun comes up, you'll be able to see that. Last time I did this with a small bag, I got about half a gallon of water out of it. It's real dry, as you can see by the grass here. I'm doing tests to see if, with it being so dry and the leaves are pretty well, you can see they're starting to deteriorate because they're not getting much water. I've had to water the tree actually. We're going to see just how much water we can get out of it, give you an idea of how well these bags work. I think everybody should carry these kind of clear trash bags in their ruck when they backcountry. You can pick your trash up with it and everything else, and it makes it kind of nice. You can use it for multiple things. You can sit on the snow with them. You can use them to keep your your butt dry or whatever. They're just a good thing to have, and you can use them for survival purposes like this, getting water. The other thing I'm going to show today, and walk over here without getting you too dizzy here, is I'm doing the SODIS method. Basically, you take the PET bottles, the clear water bottles. They're made of plastic, cheap. You know, buy them at any convenience store or whatever. And you're going to take these bottles and you put about 3/4 of the way of the water in there, and you shake them up, agitate them, get oxygen into the water. They say you can fill them back up all the way, but if you just leave about 3/4 of the way, fill them, and then they say you can put them onto either a tinfoil background or a black background. I'm doing a test to see which one works best. You usually got to have them out for about 6 hours. If it's overcast or whatever, then you got to leave them out 2 days in a row. You can do a bunch of these bottles at one time in an emergency situation to help clarify the water and to kill all the germs in it. If the water's cloudy, of course, you're going to want to clarify it by filtering it through t-shirts or whatever you have if you don't have a nice filter system or whatever. It's just a quick method and a cheap, easy method for disinfecting water and killing all the pathogens in it. So we're going to test these. We're going to leave them out all day. It's the beginning of the day, early morning. And later this afternoon, we'll come back out. We're going to take a thermometer to them and check the temperature of the water. According to WHO, the World Health Organization, and the CDC, they said you have to have these reach a temperature of 86 degrees for 6 hours in order for it to be effective. So we're going to test on the black background and on the tinfoil background, kind of like a solar cooker that you can use to cook your eggs and stuff. If you're in an emergency situation, you can use the solar cooker to do things with. We're going to test both of them and see which one works best, and basically give you an idea of how you can actually but disinfect your water using UV rays. And we'll come back later and show the rest of the game. All right, well, we're back out here again, and I was showing you our transpiration bag, and it's only been 3 hours since I put this out this morning. And as you can see, the sun has been behind the clouds most of the day. So normally you'd have, like I said, I got a half a gallon of water this last time, but it was during a more humid time. It's been really dry lately, as you can tell by the grass here. And even with the sun in and out behind the clouds, we've got probably about maybe half a cup of water in the bottom here. And the more we shake it down, more water will come in there. But this is only 3 hours into it. We've got about half a cup of water. What I want to show us, and I didn't get as tight as you should get it. You can see there's an air gap in here where air can get in. You should try to get this as tight as you can to the branch. But being that this plant is the kind of has multiple branches and not just one big branch, I had to leave a gap where I tied it. So if you can get it tighter to the branch, it'd be better. You get more water also. And you want to take and rope it down or tie it down some way you can so that the water does flow down. Place a rock in the bottom with the bag down here so it pulls the water down to that end. And so like I say, 3 hours, the sun has not been coming out. It's basically behind the clouds. And so we've got half a cup of water right now. We'll come back out later this afternoon and see if we can get a couple cups. Usually you should get a couple cups. Like I said, I've got half a gallon out of this before doing it, but it was during a moisture time of the year. The tree had more moisture in it, and the sun was out all day. Okay, we're back at the SODIS method, where you take a PET bottle and you fill it with water. They recommend you don't do more than 1 liter. And like I was saying earlier, the CDC recommends that it maintains 86 degrees water temperature. Well, we're going to come out later and try it. It's been overcast day, and it's like 50% of the sky is full of clouds. the CDC recommends that if there's 50% clouds in the sky, you got to do this 2 days. So I wanted to cover another thing about this. When you do the water, you're going to want to make sure that you take the water bottle before you do it. And it's pretty warm right now, so I think we're probably at 86 degrees, but we'll check it later to make sure. You place a object with some paper or writing on underneath here, and you want to be able to look through the top and be able to read the font if it's about 1/4 inch. If you can read through the bottom of the bottle, your water's clear enough to do the SODIS method. If you can't read it, you're going to have to filter the water with either t-shirts or whatever you have to filter it. To make, you put these on a rooftop, it makes it even better. As I can tell just from feeling these, both of them feel about the same temperature, but we will check them later with a thermometer later on this afternoon, as hopefully more sun will come out and we can get an idea of whether the black background or the tinfoil background works better, and we'll check that later and see. So, well, we're back. We're gonna wrap it up today because the sun has been really behind the clouds. It's later in the afternoon. You can still let this sit out for probably another 3 more hours and get more water, more perspiration. This transpiration method works pretty well. A couple things I want to point out. You want to make sure you get a tree that's got a lot of green leafy leaves on it. The more the better. Make sure you put a rock in the bottom of it. Make sure that you tie it down. Try to get as tight to this as you can. Like I said, we've got probably, I don't know, 2 cups, 3 cups of water, maybe more. I mean, I don't know. There's a leaf in there, of course, but there's quite, I mean, it's quite a bit. I mean, it would be enough to satisfy your thirst for a while. And that's only with 5 hours. We did that in 5 hours. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the SODIS method, and I'm going to end this video with that. I recommend you can also do this with green leaves. You could literally pick all the greens off of this. It was called a veggie bag, as we call it in the Army. Throw it all in the bag, same bag, clear bag, put it up on a hilltop where it exposes the sun, put a rock in it facing down, and it'll do the same exact thing. It'll put water down into the rock. I just use a little white rock down the bottom. And you don't have to treat this water, you can drink it directly. Now, I'm going to go back over here to my SODIS method I was talking about, solar disinfection of the water. And basically, again, I checked the water temperature. I forgot to bring my thermometer out. These were all over 100 degrees, both of them. I found that the one in the black was actually hotter. It was like 104 degrees or whatever, and so it got pretty warm sitting out here in the sun. So either one would work, the black or the tinfoil. Again, that's for water that you have. It's not from water that you got from transpiration or anything, because you can drink that straight. This is like water you get that's not really clean. You're not sure. You take it out of a river or whatever, a pond. You filter it and get it as clear as you possibly can. Then put it in one of these bottles, and then put it out in the sun. Minimum of 6 hours if you have direct sunlight all day. If you have, like today, overcast big time, or 50% clouds, you have to do this 2 days in a row for at least 6 hours each day in order to kill all the pathogens or parasites in the water. So basically, there's another method you can use with water bottles. You can stick them on your roof. Hurricane situation, you got water from your tap, you're not sure what you want, if it's clean enough, take it, throw it in a bunch of bottles. You can even put in plastic bags if you want. The only problem with the plastic bags is leaching from the chemicals in it. You know, you've released those chemicals into your water and free radicals, all that nonsense, but that's not going to kill you right away. Emergency situation, you could use plastic bags. I don't recommend it. I recommend the PET bottles. They don't put off as many chemicals when they heat up in the sun. Again, look through the bottle, make sure you can read at least 1/4 inch font on it to make sure it's clean enough. And place it out in the sun for at least 6 hours on a clear sunny day. And if not, 2 days, and you got clean drinking water, all purified. Thank you.